Live, live, live. Here we are. Look at that. We're live.
Beautiful. Good to see you,
We're,
Vinnie. How are you?
I'm okay. Good to see you too, Michael. That's Michael Knight. He's down in Los Angeles.
That's New
Vinny.
York,
I'm up
Vinnie.
here, New York, Vinny. And
Seattle, Washington.
so we cover the country. If you look at it this way.
And that's sort of what happened last night with the voting in Virginia, New Jersey, New York, and then little action in California to balance it out.
Yeah, it was a good night if you're a Democrat. Although if I'm the Democrats, I don't start getting too huffy about this because I still haven't figured out if this was an I like the Democrats vote or I'm just sick of this asshole in the White House vote. And I would have voted for anybody.
Well, I think it's
Except for
both.
New York. New York is a different animal, but the other votes, I just think they're sick. I think people are sick of the way that the country's being run, and they see it's just
They're
it's a
sick of
joke.
turning on and you turn on the news and it's a different load of shit every day, and it never goes away. It just intensifies, and it's a horrible state of affairs that we don't want, that we don't like the insecurity of it. We don't like the madness of it. We don't like the meanness and the terrible attitude that comes with our new Trump government and the secret police and the arrests and the disregard of any kind of law or any kind of restriction or any kind of sensible wait and see attitude that the government has flushed
Right.
and replaced it with madness every day.
It's exactly it, Michael. I mean, part of living in the United States, part of the bargain of living here in the United States is that we feel secure about living here in the United States, right? I mean, they always talk about third world countries, and if you speak out against the government, the Savak comes and gets you, or the secret police, or whatever it is. You even Russia,
Anton
uh,
Makut.
yeah, there's some organization in a country that comes and gets you or comes and puts the pressure on you or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you don't really ever feel that for the most part in the United States until now. You didn't even really feel it that much under the last Trump administration. But now he knows he's got nothing to lose because he's either going to die or, he's not going to be able to. He thinks he's going to run for a third term, but he's off his rocker. It'll be the biggest waste of money. And you're at a point where people don't feel that same safety anymore. And much as I talked about a few months ago, businesses have to feel safe in order to operate. They have to feel like what the law is today, the law is basically going to be tomorrow and the next day and the next day so that they can plan their businesses out. That's the attraction of America.
Name an industry that can tell you what the tariffs are, what it's going to cost them, what are the dollars in the deals. It can't be done. It's conjecture. It's guesstimates.
The tariffs are getting beat up this morning in the Supreme Court. They're getting the shit kicked out of them. Right. And he is. And when you listen to Amy Coney Barrett on there, hitting the lawyer up, like, well, no, you just said this. Now you're saying this. You just said this. You didn't hear that 6 months ago. You didn't hear that a year ago. You didn't hear that 2 years ago out of the Supreme Court. You didn't hear that.
Is this the only guy that can get to argue for Trump? The guy with
Did
the
you
voice.
Hear him? He sounds like Bobby Kennedy.
He sounds like a wicked witch from the Wicked auditions. Very strange voice.
So anyway, so I think people are just starting to get fed up with it, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. I think that Marjorie Taylor Greene, which we were talking about Monday, showed us a little bit of what's going on. That people are going, listen, this guy is a lame duck president for all intents and purposes. You haven't heard anybody say that about him. He's a lame duck president. He gets, but he is. What can he do? He just has
no more.
He has a bunch of people who, if they have any brains in their heads, are going to distance themselves from him.
When's that
What
going to
happened
happen, though, Vin?
last?
We've been waiting for this to kick in, Vin, because there's so much bad juju attached to Trump and his support for your candidacy. But when's that going to kick in? It started last night when the reality numbers came through, and the Democratic candidates won all the races and did so handily, better than predictions. And even when it was supposed to be close in New Jersey, it wasn't close in New Jersey. So
Right.
the end result is, if you align yourself with Trump, you're going to lose big time. If there's a strong candidate against you, you haven't got a chance.
And people better look toward Democrats, better look toward Mamdani. They better look toward, now, whether you like him or not, whether you believe his social programs or not, whether you hate him because he's a Muslim, and believe me, there is a shit ton of that stuff going on.
Well, Staten Island.
Yeah, well, not just Staten Island. You know, you think it's just Staten Island, but it's not just Staten Island. It's in the Bronx. It's all over the place. It's not just, but what he has done is he has done something that has attracted younger voters, and we talked about this before. He has laid out a clear vision for what he wants to do. Now, you may not agree with what he wants to do, but
who else has got a plan?
He's got a plan. He's saying, we're going to do this, 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 we're going to do. He used the word deliver last night in his speech 10 times.
And keep in mind, the things that he's promising are going to be difficult to answer to.
He may not get any of it.
Right.
He's still got a city council, and he's still got a board of estimate, and he's got hoops he's got to run through. But when you win with over 50% of the vote in New York City, you got, it says two things. It says, number one, the people are fed up with what's going on. And number two, they want somebody who's not just going to give them the same lip service like Cuomo did, or like Sliwa did, or like Adams did. Adams gave him what did Adams accomplish while he was mayor of New York?
He got arrested pretty quick. He did take a lot of time out of the confusion of is he someone we can trust, or is he someone that can't be trusted?
Yeah.
Let's just get this clear. He can't be trusted. He's one of those mayors of New York, and we're just going to take him out of the race. Trump's going to say the right things and pardon him.
Yeah, I was going to say he was I don't know. He just reminded me of what, just an old style politician who's going to promise you that he's going to do something, but he can't be clear on what he's going to do. And Mamdani said, you know what? We got these quality of life issues. New York City is unaffordable for the average person. Manhattan and even Queens. I mean, everybody always says Manhattan. Try to get an apartment in Queens or an apartment in Brooklyn, or an apartment even in Staten Island, and it's outrageous. That New York City is unaffordable for the average person. You have to work two jobs to live in New York City, or have two incomes, or something's got it. And young people are sick of that. Young people don't want to hear that. Young people want somebody who's going to say, "This is the direction I want to go." And this is what I think. And he laid out a plan, and he won. Now, I think a lot of it was people seeing Trump trying to maneuver the election, trying to push the election his way. But again, you had two old New York City hacks. You had Cuomo, whose name is who I personally like, but it's like, they should have run Abe Beam for mayor, or John Lindsay.
Yeah. And the turnout was extraordinary in New York, and everywhere. But
mentioning about Lindsay, It's the most turnout since Lindsey ran the last time in 1969, when he actually ran against Mario Procaccino back in 1969. It's the most turnout for an election. Over 2 million people turned out
And
in an off-year election.
the lines in California reflected the same concern on the behalf of the electorate. They were in long lines, long into the evening, past the poll closing, taking part in the process on something that didn't have to do with a candidate. It had to do with just an idea, a concept, a political move that the state had never asked its voters to endorse in such a way before. One item on the ballot and millions of voters all getting in line to have their say about yes or no on Proposition 50. And it cleared by an amazing amount,
Well,
a large amount.
And that's because the man who put it on the ballot has put out a plan. Again, you may not like Gavin Newsom. You may not, he's probably a certain cup of tea for people, a certain taste for people. You may not like him, but he's got a plan, doesn't he?
And he's going successfully against Trump, where so many have tried and failed, or fearful of the outcome, never did it the correct way, never got strong about it, never got daily reinforcement of, I am offering you an alternative to Donald Trump and all the evil and strange and chaotic things he does.
What have we been saying the last, I don't know how many years?
6 years.
The Democrats need to find their Donald Trump. They need to find their guy who's going to be aggressive, who is going to be not an asshole like Donald Trump, but is going to take the Democratic principles and run with them, not sit there and say, well, and not be against, not just point the finger at Trump for everything, because Trump isn't the whole problem.
Well, Vinnie, think about that.
He's not. See, a lot of. I don't think Trump. I think we are the problem because we accept a guy like Trump, and the news media accepts a guy like Trump, and they see in him, money because he clicks the meters.
Well, unfortunately, every media outlet that we know of, all the major ones, are going through acquisitions and mergers, and they need Trump's support or they can't do what they have planned. CBS has turned into a piss pot in 2 weeks. The Tiffany network is no more. The concept of who, what, where, when, and how has been abandoned and replaced by right-wing corporate control of content of news. And watch what's happening. MSNBC is becoming MS Now. CBS is, in order to get its merger with Paramount and the Ellison family, has capitulated completely in terms of their ability to cover the news. Right now, they let the news happen to them. They let the Trump administration tell them what stories to cover and how to cover them and what to do with it and who to assign and how to cover. What's the headline going to be? It better be pleasing to His Majesty, because to operate otherwise will be suicide, political corporate suicide.
Yeah, well, there has to, at some point. Now, here, I just want to show you this, Michael. Here's our psychopathic text of the message of the day. This is from One Big Pond, and he says, you both, or she, I don't know, you both look like you love the fact that America is the murdering capital of the world. I'll bet you this person has sent that same message to everybody online that he's ever encountered.
The murdering capital of the world.
Yeah, what an idiot. If you're going to be an idiot, we got enough idiots here. Go sell your idiot somewhere else, okay? Go knock on somebody else's door.
I can't see anybody buying that brand of idiot.
Yeah, no. There's people that'll buy that. Now, here's the thing. Now, You know what? I don't even want to talk about it because it's just such a stupid message, such a message that is so out in the left field.
And Vinny, when Donald Trump is long gone and we can forget about the Trump years as best we can, that guy or that girl will still be around making ridiculous statements, coming to impossible conclusions, and using their voice on social media to obfuscate and confuse and irritate and anger anybody with a brain.
Well, yeah. See, but that's where we see that's social media today. That's this animal that we've created, or that's been created, and we've decided to take advantage of what you get on social media. You get people who they don't have a feeling about something. They want to provoke people. They want to troll people. They want to get a reaction from people.
I want to know what reaction we're going to get from them now that Trump has seen the mental positioning of the electorate, what they want, what they're willing to vote for, what they're responding to, what they're reacting to, and what they're willing to do in terms of standing in line and voting by mail and all the other elements of participating in their own democracy. The answer to what can you do and what can the angry people of America do to answer the effect of the Trump world is what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Get in line and vote. Get off your fat ass and vote.
If you think you can't do anything, you have one day a year where you can do something. It may be the only power you have, and this is why I tell people I advocate this so much, and I've been advocating this for years. Even the small elections, vote. Even the little ones, take 10 minutes, look at the candidates, and vote for somebody because it makes a difference.
And is the greatest weapon you've got when a candidate for Senate or for Congress loses by 20 points and the opponent has got the support of the people who are voting, not just to say, I oppose Donald Trump, but I support this guy. I support this female candidate. There's nothing more powerful. And it sends a message instantly. They cannot be dodged. You can talk about hoaxing and rigging and all the other excuses that the Republicans come up with. If you can't get the votes, you can't play this game. And yesterday we saw that the people who got the votes play the game today, and the other people, the Trump candidates who were poised to take his ideas, use them as their own, and foster this all Trump all the time world, are no longer on strong ground. They have a weak position. In fact, they have no position. They just have to wait for Trump to tell them what they believe, what they feel today, what they are going to say today. What's their talking points? They're not theirs. They're Donald Trump's, and they have to echo him.
Well, I think I may be wrong on this, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the government open up in a couple of days. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump gave the order, because that's what it is. It's a mob deal. It's not much different than the mafia. But he gave the order to open up the government, agree to health care. We'll figure out another way down the road. Maybe if they came up with a plan for health care.
2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe if they actually sat down and came up and used their pea brains to come up with a plan for health care, they might get somewhere.
I don't think they're capable of any. I don't think they have.
There's too much hate.
They've got the votes. They can pass legislation. No one can stop them, but they can't get started. They won't even go to work. They won't even come to Washington. They won't even open their office doors.
To do health care, I believe, you have to have a love for people. You have to have a true calling of wanting to help people. I believe that. I believe that that's how Medicare got here. That's how Social Security got here. That's how Medicaid got here. All of those programs that help people We're here because people in government had a true calling to help people.
And
And they
keep in
used their power.
mind that the Republican Party opposed all those initiatives during the Roosevelt years, and called them socialist claptrap. And the dangerous
Right.
step down and was there to say no to all of it. Each and every aspect of the social safety net that you described was opposed by the same Republican Party that is denying Medicare and food to Americans with some sort of self-assured feeling that they're doing the right thing. It's starving people and denying them medical care is just what America needs and just what America wants. And it's how we become more powerful, and the leadership that we show the world is based on the suffering we're willing to inflict on our own people.
And the audacity on top of it, of when you're proposing to cut off food for millions of people, and you take people on a tour of your Lincoln bathroom in the White House, and you take people and you throw a party down at Mar-a-Lago. It's impossible for me to fathom that somebody can be that stupid or that out of touch.
Well,
And
keep in mind, this is the same group of people who just tore down the East Wing of the White House and were surprised and offended when America said, that's not what we want done with our White House. It's not how we want to proceed. That's not how we want to go. You shouldn't have torn that down. You don't need a ballroom, and especially you don't need anything, a major project like this going on while you can't even fund the FAA or the FDA or
anything with an A. You can't fund anything with an A. And now we're getting to the B's. You can't fund things with a B. Pretty soon we'll be down to the LMNOPs.
You said fucking A, now we're saying fucking B.
Yeah, I mean you can't make this stuff up. And it's so much. Again, it is like, I mean, it's so like Germany in the 30s that it's almost unreal. It's almost the building stuff, the taking over of the arts, the Kennedy Center, and it's the same shit that Hitler was doing.
True.
Except he was hoarding, people into trains and taking them off to different places so that they could be killed.
Who's doing that now?
Well, you got the ICE, the ICE.
Secret police.
I really don't like the term ICE for them. It makes me not want to put ice in my drink. So, but again, I don't know that the average person is affected by ICE unless you live in a big city, unless you live somewhere where you have a minority population, or you have farm workers, or you have something of that order where they have gone to places. But
that's every major city in the nation.
Right. Everybody's losing workers. Everybody's losing people. Everybody's losing somebody that they know to this. Everybody knows somebody, or everybody has seen these ICE raids. Everybody has seen somebody or knows somebody who's gotten caught up in one, and even if they've been released. Again, it's about being secure. It's about knowing that when you leave the house in the morning, that you're going to come back from that. How many times did we hear when we were kids, or not even, young people, and you talk to people who lived in Eastern Europe, and you talk to people who lived in Russia, and you talk to people who lived in Italy, and France. Well, he left the house one day, his uncle, and he never came back.
The Gestapo took him.
He wrote a letter to the editor, and that was the last we ever saw of him. Well, that's happening here now. It's happening in this country. It's happening here. It could happen to me. Could happen to you. We don't know.
That's the great part of this, Vinnie. When you sweep someone in and take them off the street, you don't have to tell them what you intend to do with them or where you're taking them or what the charges are. Just grab them. The important thing is get the numbers up. That's what they want, the numbers of deportation. Get them way up. And if these people have nothing to do with the problem that you're trying to correct with limits on immigration, so much the better. You're just sending a message to everybody.
I just have one question that I, after I saw, I saw it Monday after we got off the air, and I just it's puzzled me. And if I ever got a chance to talk to Andrew Cuomo, I would ask him. Matter of fact, I felt like calling his brother's show and asking him. There's one simple question: who the fuck told you that it would be a good idea to have Stephen Miller endorse you? Who in your campaign
Trump
said to you, hey, let's publicize this. Let's put this out there? I mean, even people in the Republican Party don't like this guy.
Can you imagine sitting next to him at a dinner table?
I couldn't imagine being in the same room. I wouldn't go in the same room with him. I wouldn't want, if I got an invitation to the White House to have dinner with Trump, I would go. I would go and I would tell him what I think. And I would, what are you going to do? You going to throw me out? Great.
Yes.
But I would go. I wouldn't be mean about it, but I would say, this is what you're doing to people I know. This is what you do, because I believe he's a guy that, I don't know, he's an idiot, but I think if you approach him on the vein, maybe you'd have a chance to talk to him. I don't think you'd do anything, but you'd have a chance to talk to him, and you'd have a chance to make your opinion known. Stephen Miller, I wouldn't even go in the same room with him. I wouldn't even, that's slime, because he's just everything that's wrong, not with America, with humanity. With humanity. And I wouldn't want to be in the presence of that in any shape, manner, or form. Not that Trump isn't, don't get me wrong.
They're
but
both
part of his
smell
job
of
is
evil.
to listen to people.
They smell of
They reek of racism.
Burnt fireworks. There's something combustible about them.
So that's my question for Cuomo: is who the frick told you that it would be a good idea to get this guy's endorsement? Now, it probably put him over the top in Staten Island.
I don't know. I thought he was probably doing well in that. Of all the boroughs, that was the one that he was destined to probably not win, but Mamdi was not going to win it himself.
No,
wasn't going to be a victory for Cuomo. It was just not a victory for him.
I didn't see the breakdowns, but I wonder if Mamdani did better than people expected in Staten Island, because you have the old guard in Staten Island, you have the south end of the island, Tottenville, and out that way, but you also have a large number of people on the north part of the island that are younger, that have basically left Manhattan and come to Staten Island because it's cheaper to live. So in places like St. George, in places like that face Manhattan and that whole North Shore, you find a lot of younger voters, a lot of younger people, a lot of apartment buildings there, older sections of town. So I wonder, let me see if I could quickly find a breakdown of. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm really. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I'm just looking at a map and it's exactly what I said. Mondami took almost the whole North Shore of Staten Island. On the front page of the Times, there's a color coded map of who took what, and Mondani beat Cuomo and all across the North Shore of Staten Island. The rest of it, though, went for Cuomo. But and the deeper part, the southern part of the island, went from big time. Mondami got it big time on the east side, in the north side of the island. So that's it. That's interesting.
It's also interesting that the candidate of the youth of New York, the younger voter, wanted something different than the Manhattan voter or the middle of the road Brooklyn voter or the more conservative Bronx voter. They said unequivocally, this is the direction we want the city to go. Not that way, this way. And we all say it. We all agree. And it was more than the Democratic Party could deal with. They had to surf it as best they could because they didn't know how to react to the acceptance of Mondami and the lack of fear. Wait, he's a socialist. Wait, he's a Muslim. Wait, he's not one of us. They said, yeah, we're going to give this guy a chance. We like the cut of his jib, and we're backing him all the way. All the way.
It's fascinating to see. You know the other thing that impressed me about Mondani, and again, I'm not going to say I'm on board with everything he's saying, but it seemed like the guy really cared about New York City. It seemed to me that the guy loved New York City. That the guy wanted to put it in a position to succeed for a long time to come. Now, the Orthodox Jews, they voted for Cuomo. I'm sure the Italians voted for Cuomo. I mean, they vote for anybody with an Italian last name.
Well,
so,
with an old school candidate like Cuomo and a rather reactionary Republican candidate like Sliwa, there was a lot of opposition to Mondami that could have been marshaled in a regular race, but this wasn't a regular race. It was unique in that he came out of nowhere. He came out of left field. He came out with great support and has sustained that support. And he didn't have to invent the platform that got him elected. It was all there waiting for him. New York was the most expensive town in the world. And he said, we're going to change that. We can change it. We should change it. We have dedicated our race to coming up with new ideas to financially structure the city and to limit the crazy pricing that has got people living in apartments that they can't afford or unable to get into an apartment that they need desperately to live in the city. The cost. I remember moving to New York a couple of times, and you just got an apartment. Well, you can't do that anymore, Vinnie. You know that.
No, yeah, no,
you can't pull into town and call around and get an apartment and move in.
No, I mean, it was tough to do it back then. I mean, you could do it, yeah, but the old way you used to get an apartment in New York. You go and you go to the super at a building, and you say, "Let me know, give me a number. Let me know when something comes up." And you put a 20 in that thing, and the guy would call you. So it's amazing. It's a new direction for New York. It's funny. They what was it? What was the wheelchair governor? Abbott, the Texas governor. Last night said that he was going to put a tariff on people moving to Texas from New York. I mean,
It's
You know,
it's a
the other
Texas it's a Texas thing to say. I'm going to put my eye out before I see anything I wanted to look at. I was going to watch the sunrise, and there goes a pretty girl down the street, but instead, I think I'll just blind myself and see how that works.
what an idiot. But you know what? They keep electing him there.
Well, he does what he's told.
So you know what?
That's going to get
As
old.
much as my friends, and I have many friends that don't want to believe that Mondami could be good for the city. I'm not. Again, he might not be. I don't know. But what was happening in the city wasn't working.
And they had a mayor who couldn't be a mayor. They didn't have a mayor for the last 3 years. They had a suit who was doing the bidding of other people.
And the mayor before him wasn't all that hot either.
De Blasio, yeah.
You know, de Blasio wasn't all that great a mayor either. I mean, they haven't had a good mayor in New York since Bloomberg.
Funny thing about the recent mayors is as soon as they elect them, they hate them.
Well,
they got
that's the same with everything in New York. I mean, they saw everybody was jumping up and down the day that the Mets signed Juan Soto. A month later, they hated him. By the end of the season,
never liked him anyway.
He probably had the best year on record of any Met ever. But that's New York. That's the pattern in New York. Is you get him in there and then you hate him. The one thing that bothered me about the Mamdani race is just that people got so scared the last week of the election that they really started to let their racism come out. They really started to. I mean, you look at social media. You look at some of the things that I saw on social media from people in New York. And you would be, you wouldn't be shocked, because when people get into places of fear, that's what they lean on, right? And
who created that element of fear in their judgment of the race?
Well, I think it was a pretty good combination of stuff. I think, listen, a sect of that religion did something horrible to New York City. I mean, if 2 Roman Catholics were driving that plane or those planes into the World Trade Center, would have we gotten all the churches out of town? And don't tell me Roman Catholics don't do stuff, because, I lived through the days of the mafia. So, maybe they don't kill them 4,000 at a clip, but they kill them one at a time pretty consistently.
Yeah. Then I got to make my exit. Sorry that I've been ending the shows this way, but it's got to be done.
All right. Listen, I will talk to you
Friday.
On Friday.
Freaky Friday.
All right. Be good, Mike. Take care.
Okay.
We'll see you on Friday. And then, and all of you, I will see you on Friday as well. I don't know. I don't know if I would have voted for Mamdani or not. I'm not sure. I didn't delve that deep into the race, but the guy came to the table with a plan. That plan looked good enough to enough New Yorkers that they voted for him. It's funny. The same people who are screaming, I'm going to leave New York City. New York City is toast. Were the same ones who were saying 2 years ago and then 8 years ago, give Donald Trump a chance. Maybe Donald Trump isn't going to be as bad as you think he is. Maybe, he's going to get it. So, give Zoran Mamdani a chance. Maybe he isn't going to be as bad as you think he is. If you could give Trump a chance, you could give Mamdani a chance. And if not, pack your shit and move out of New York. I did it. I had the balls to do it. Leave your rent control department. Leave your comfort zone. Leave your favorite restaurants where you go and you eat and you secretly dislike the nationality of the people that run the place. Don't go back there. Don't go to New York. Let the young socialists have it. You know, New York has a shelf life for everybody. So that's my advice. But give the dude a chance. Let's see what he does. And go from there. Certainly willing to give Trump a chance. And he is, I don't know, seems to me like he's one of the more racist people I've ever run into in my life. I mean, you made up shit stories about Donald Trump when he got elected, saying that he was helping black people out on the Cross Island Parkway or the Belt Parkway. The guy's got a flat tire. Remember that one? I got a flat Donald Trump, a limousine pull. What was it on social media? A limousine was driving down the Belt Parkway near Cross Bay Boulevard, and he pulled over because he saw a guy out there with a flat tire in the rain. Yeah, you know that's Donald Trump, right? And when he saw the guy and he was a black guy, the guy said he didn't have any money. So the guy in the limousine, took the guy to a gas station and he bought him a tire and bought him a rim and came back and helped him change his tire. That was the story. Remember that story? It was going around social media? And you actually expected people to believe that was Donald Trump. You got to be kidding me. Well, I'll tell you what. And again, we don't know. But it seemed more likely to me that Zoran Mondami would be driving down Belt Parkway, see somebody with a flat tire, and pull over and help him than Donald Trump. Let's see if anybody starts that story about him. See what you're going to do for New York. Congratulations to the governor-elect of New Jersey. Congratulations to the governor-elect of Virginia. And if I'm a Republican today, I'm following Marjorie Taylor Greene. I am backing away from Donald Trump, man. I am backing away from him, and I am saying his time has come and gone. And the best thing you got is to do something for the people before. And when I say do something, I don't mean take away their health care. I don't mean take away their SNAP benefits. I mean, make them work better, make them more efficient, get people back to work so they don't need SNAP benefits, fix the economy. That's what you should be doing. Instead of spending your day on the internet, sending out memes about yourself. That's what you ought to be doing. That's it for me. See you on Friday morning with Mikey. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, too. And if the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise, we'll see you. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.